Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. About a year ago I made a video reviewing my Leo et Violette bag, but that video was missing a key piece of information, which was how does the bag actually wear? How well does it last? And is it really worth the price tag? I've had my Leo et Violette bag since the beginning of March 2025, so a little over a year by now. And I've worn this bag so many times, probably every other day, so I do feel qualified to answer all of these questions. Please keep in mind these are all my personal experiences with the bag, not common knowledge in any kind of way, just what I've experienced over the past year or so. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. When planning my videos, I always try to give you a really in-depth overview over the products I'm talking about. But with fashion and accessories, I can't really paint the full picture in my initial video, simply because I just can't say anything about the longevity of an item. I would have to test the items for quite a while before I could give you a satisfying answer. So I decided to do an initial review video and then coming back to that and doing an update later on. In my first review, I was only able to look for indicators how well the bag would last. For example, looking at the quality, what is the leather like, how does it feel, how neatly is the bag stitched together, things like that. But, and I think this is the most important point actually, I can't really say how well something will wear over time. However, I think this information is super valuable for someone who's trying to decide whether to buy something or not. In the beginning, everything looks nice and new, but over time, you will definitely see and experience the real quality of an item. So for this video, I came up with 4 different categories that I want to talk about. First one being the leather. The second one is the hardware. The third one is the shape. And the fourth one is the interior. And hopefully with that, we will have touched on everything. Before we talk about the different categories though, I wanted to give you like a tiny introduction to the brand and also the bag, just in case someone hasn't seen my initial video. As I mentioned, the bag I'm going to be talking about today is from the brand Leo et Violette and it's called Le Laurent. Leo et Violette is a French brand and they produce all of their leather goods in Italy. And for this bag, they used a textured calfskin leather. The bag has gold hardware and it's in this gorgeous chocolatey brown color. And the interior is like this light beigey color. At this point in the video, I unfortunately have to let you know that Leo et Violette discontinued the chocolate brown textured version of this bag. They still have a patent brown one, which is the same color but doesn't have the texture. And they have a black textured version, but this exact one is no longer available. They do have quite a few other colorways though. They have, well, I think there is a red one. I think there is like a midnight blue one, which is relatively new. A teal one, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I'm going to blend in some pictures of other colorways, so you just get an overview over them. But yeah, unfortunately, they discontinued this one. The bag looks relatively small, but it does fit quite a nice amount of things inside. I use this as my everyday bag, and apart from my water bottle, it fits all of my daily essentials. My card holder, my keys, my tissues, my, I don't know, headache tablets, AirPods, phone. There is a lot of space in here, so yeah, it is my perfect everyday bag. I wear this mostly as a top handle bag, but it does come with an additional strap, so you can wear it as a crossbody if you want to. I think it's nice to have the option, although I barely make use of the strap. Nowadays, this bag costs 470 euros. When I bought this a year ago, I paid 420 euros, so there is quite a price increase, but I feel like everything just gets more expensive, so, well, I guess this bag also got more expensive. Not great, but I can understand. And I think that was enough as a little introduction. If you want a more detailed review, I would advise you to check out my initial video, which I'm going to link on the screen somewhere for you, and you can check that out if you like. But yeah, otherwise I would get on with the 4 different categories. Okay, let's start with the leather. As I mentioned, this is a textured calfskin leather, and I chose a textured leather bag in particular because I was hoping that you won't notice scratches as easily as on a smooth leather bag, and I believe I was right. Overall, I think the leather still looks really good. There are a few scratches here and there, but I wasn't expecting there to be no scratches. When I buy a bag, I really use it. I'm not terribly precious about them, which doesn't mean I just throw them around and just treat them badly, but it also means that I'm not scared about using it in my everyday life. The leather is a bit beaten up around the closure and also the inside of the flap, which I guess is just from friction and from using it daily. There's also a scratch on the flap of the bag and I think somewhere around here and at the bottom of the bag, which I'm going to talk about later because I think these scratches could have been avoided. Other than that, I think the leather looks really good. The colour is rich and mostly even, and yeah, I'm just really pleased with the leather quality. However, once I'm done filming this video, I'm going to treat this bag by moisturising the leather and maybe also using like a brown coloured shoe cream to make the colour pop even more and make it even darker and richer. I haven't done that yet because I wanted to show you just how the bag wears naturally if you don't do anything to it. But if you want to prolong the life of your leather and if you want to keep it nice and fresh looking, you can always, just like your leather shoes, use a moisturiser and some shoe cream to just give it like a really polished and new look. I personally use the products from Sapphire, which I'm going to link down below for you. You don't have to use them, but I think they're really good. You can use whatever you want, but yeah, just in case you don't have anything for that purpose, I'm going to link it down below for you. All in all, I'm really happy with the quality of the leather, especially considering how often I've worn this bag over the past year. So yeah, gets a thumbs up from me here. Now, let's talk about the hardware. So the metal parts, which are up here, and also the feet of the bag and the fork clasp, are made from a stainless steel and covered in a gold PVD finish. The gold hardware is probably where I see the most wear on the bag, especially the clasp and the feet, which is understandable because the feet are what touches the floor and the clasp is something you also use every day. You touch all the time, so it makes sense that this looks the most worn. So you do have quite a few scratches and the stainless steel starts to like shine through, although I think it's not that bad, to be honest. I think it still looks pretty golden. However, there's something about the bag that I don't understand, and I mentioned that in the initial video, and that is why the feet are so short. They don't actually properly reach the floor, which you can see because they're just worn at the edges of these feet and the middle part is still perfectly golden, and that is because they're just too short. So when I set this bag down, it partially sits on the feet and partially sits on the leather, like trim here around the bag, and that is where the scratches in the leather come from at the bottom of the bag. This could be a very quick fix for Leo et Violette. They would just have to make the feet longer, but unfortunately for my bag, it's a little late for that. This is definitely the biggest design flaw in my opinion when it comes to this bag, but who knows, maybe Leo et Violette has fixed it in the past year. Other than that, I think the hardware is holding up fine. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. Alrighty, now let's talk about point number 3, which would be shape. This is a very firm and structured bag, and to be honest, it held its shape perfectly. I think it still looks amazing, almost like when I bought it. The only place where you can see the wear a little bit is up here, where you hold the bag as a top handle bag. I sometimes have a lot in my bags and they get quite heavy, so it makes sense to me that that part would stretch a bit. Actually, when I bought this bag, I was a little worried about like this stretching too much and looking a bit funny shaped, but I'm very happy to report that this bag holds its shape almost perfectly, gets an A+ from me in that department. I'm really happy with that, and I mean, look at it, it's still so beautiful. And lastly, let's talk about the interior of the bag. This bag, as I mentioned, has a light interior, which I mean, looks beautiful against the dark brown, but let's be honest, a light coloured interior is not the most practical choice. It looks dirty way quicker than if you had like a darker lining in there, but I knew that, and I didn't mind it too much. However, I'm very happy to report that I've kept this bag relatively clean. There are a few tiny stains in there, but nothing major. I believe on first glance, you wouldn't even be able to see most of them. So yeah, I'm just very proud of myself. What I love about this bag is that there's only one compartment in the middle, and that makes it very spacious, way more spacious than if you had two compartments. I feel like it's also more easy to reach everything because you can get your hand in very easily. And because this bag is made from very firm leather, you can also not really see when it's very full. It doesn't bulge or anything. It keeps its shape very nicely, even if it's filled to the brim. There's also a little leather pouch inside of the bag where I just keep like random tickets or notes or whatever, just like tiny pieces of paper, or you could keep a card in there if you wanted to. It's just perfect for these little things that you have flying around and that you need a place for. The leather of that pouch kind of looks the most beaten up, I would say, probably because everything just gets chucked into the bag, and well, I'm not precious about it, as I said. So yeah, it probably gets the most friction and wear, but it still looks good enough for me, so I don't really mind it. I mean, I use this bag so much, so obviously it will look worn over time, but I think it's still in such good condition. And that is everything I have to say about the interior. All in all, I have to say I'm super impressed with this bag. Just in case you hadn't noticed from the past few minutes of praising it, apart from the feet being too short, I have no complaints about this bag. I don't regret buying it. On the contrary, I'm so glad that I did. When you buy a bag, you know that it won't stay perfect because the things that you use the most will look worn over time. And I feel like there's a certain beauty to that because it showcases how much you love an item and how much you enjoy wearing it. But in my experience, a high quality item will age so much more beautifully and graciously than a bad quality one. And with this bag, I definitely found one of the good ones. So would I still recommend buying this bag? I think my answer won't come as a surprise, but yes, of course. I would definitely recommend buying this bag. I absolutely adore it. I feel like it makes every single one of my outfits look like 10 times more elegant and chic and beautiful. To be honest, I feel like I need to buy a second one in a different colorway of this bag because in my opinion, it doesn't get better. It's almost perfect. If they fix their feet, the feet problem, I think this bag will just be perfect. So yeah, I might need to get another one. Huge shame that they discontinued the brown texture colorway. But as I said, they have so many different colors to choose from. So if you're thinking about buying this bag, be assured that it is of really good quality, and I would gladly repurchase it if I hadn't bought it a year ago. Alright guys, so this was my video. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you found it helpful in any kind of way. As I mentioned, you can check out my initial video. I'm going to link it down below for you. So if you want some more information about the bag, no problem, you can just watch that one. And I've also linked the bag down below just in case you want to check it out for yourself. If you want to continue watching some more of my content, I'm going to link a video up on the screen for you here so you can check that out if you like. And with that being said, I think I'm going to sign off here. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and we will hopefully see each other for my next video. Bye bye!